The mind is in large part a series of mirrors that allow us to see ourselves, yet usually in our own light, to see around us, around blind corners, yet usually through our own psyche, to see behind us, but within the mirror's frame. Mirrors allow us to see more of reality, yet usually within our own context. But American division and violence have challenged us to alter this use of mirrors. To grow, we must alter the light and rhythms of our lives. Light, to see images more clearly. Rhythm, to change the mirror's position and reflect the experiences of others living in our culture. And in the process, we must hold close the more elusive meaning of mirror, as suggested in its Latin root, mirari, which means to wonder at. Toward that end, the Formosa Quartet commissioned the piece you're about to hear, and has asked for anyone in the Eastern Michigan University community to volunteer their own reflections on living in America. Tonight, as part of this world premiere performance, those people will share their insights. We're deeply grateful for their contributions and collaboration.
America is a land of loud, opinionated people.
Come on. That's it. Listen, I have had enough.
My America sounds like the clash of continents. The East and West, the North and South, colliding into consonants. It smells of freshly cooked rice and hot dogs, or kimchi and mac and cheese. It looks like light streaming through a stained glass window. We are at our best when our many different parts intertwine.
When I think of America, I think of a place where buildings are disposable, human beings are viewed as capital, and where the earth takes the brunt of our insatiable, broken greed.
What does my America look like? Maybe an old 1980 VHS tape reel showing an eagle flying over a superimposed waving flag, like some sort of video was played back when I was a kid, when we had to say the Pledge of Allegiance every morning before class started.
I was kayaking the Little Manistee River right here in northern Michigan not long ago. There was a moment early on in my trip where I sat back in my kayak, took a deep breath in, and as I let it out, I said to myself, this is a true American river.
Here's a flag from Madagascar where I worked as a Peace Corps volunteer, and here is a community pride postcard because we are a country that celebrates diversity in all forms.
America is and has been made up of people working to improve conditions for future generations. It offers opportunity for growth and development of individuals, communities, and causes.
Eating salty peanuts, snow cones, and singing "Take Me Out" to the ball game is the happiest picture of American culture that I can think of. I would stay in America forever just for some Texas barbecue ribs.
My America looks like ducking under a desk as my classmate begins to pray. My vision blurring as the cops enter the room. Preparing myself to die, a martyr for a cause that wants me dead.
America claims to value students of all races, ethnicities, genders, sexualities, religions, and abilities.
Land of the free, only for some.
Or a cage for the mistreated and the home of the enslaved.
My America looks like pointillism. Because we are all living through a view of one life, it feels grand, immense, consuming, and self-centered.
A diverse nation of elastic freedom and elastic democracy.
For me, America is a hodgepodge of good and bad. It is the country of greasy food, country music, and aggressive individuality. It is a country easily swept away by social media trends, especially the dangerous ones. It has its own melody, cicadas and crickets at night, ridiculously strong winds during the day. And there's no sound as beautiful as a southern thunderstorm.
America sounds like cows in a field with wind blowing through your hair and also at the same time, it sounds like heavy machinery trying to fix the roads.
My America is messy and complicated, a tug of war between what has been and what might be. My America is a prism of humanity, the good, the bad, both hope and despair.
I'd like to think of the mirror of America as more of a reflective mosaic. Each piece portraying a different image or color all mashed together into a work of art.
No American mirror would be complete without you.
I was kayaking the Little Manistee River right here in northern Michigan not long ago. There was a moment early on in my trip where I sat back in my kayak, I took a deep breath in, and as I let it out, I said aloud to myself, "This is a true American river." The phrase had left my lips almost involuntarily, and as I finished it, I began to ruminate on why I had such a thought. As I gleaned my senses, I quickly came upon my answer. I looked around and I saw the blue sky above me, fragmented with its white and bubbling clouds. The enormous white pines and cedar trees with their verdant green gave contrast to the sky, while providing the air with a hint of late summer sweetness. All while I listened to the calm wind rustle through the leaves on the oaks and the maples. I looked below and I saw salmon spawning in the rivers as the water, clear as glass, glided beneath my kayak. I glanced above, and I saw eagles swooping high and enjoying their prey on the banks. As I took in the sights, the sounds, the smells, everything about my surroundings, I couldn't help but wonder, is this how the Native Americans or first settlers felt as they paddled this river while the place was becoming America? I felt connected to the country, or our idea of our country, the idyllic, wild America that fuels our sense of rugged independence and is the culprit of national pride. The Little Manistee, a true American river.
My America is a school system that claims to value students of all races, ethnicities, genders, sexualities, religions, and abilities, but has a long way to go in making all students feel safe to be who they truly are and empowered to grow into who they have the potential to be.
As I think of America, my memory of the old but now legally dismantled barriers against African American political participation reminds me of similar political barriers that some other American groups or communities had faced but were able to overcome within a polity that has evolved as a diverse nation of elastic freedom and elastic democracy, even though our striving for a more perfect union continues.
When I think of America, I simply think of red, white, and blue. For some, that may bring them joy by thinking of juicy red slices of watermelon, clear skies full of bright white clouds, and blue bodies of water filled with families enjoying one another on the 4th of July weekend. When I think of the colors red, white, and blue, it doesn't bring me joy. Instead, I feel a sense of sadness and anger. When I think of the color red, I think of the bloody covered streets that look like my people were actively fighting in a war zone, but instead, they were marching for equal rights in Selma, Alabama. When I think of white, I think of the 4 little black girls who walked into church wearing pretty white church dresses, excitedly walking into Sunday school, but were instead found lifeless and disformed by a bomb thrown into the place of worship. When I think of the color blue, I think of the countless dark blue and purple bodies that hung lifeless from a tree. They weren't punished for any crime, but it's simply because people hated the color of their skin and saw it as enjoyment to see my people hang so lifeless from the sycamore trees. So think about it. Is America really the same for you and me? When I think of America, I don't think of how united this country is because we are far from it. I think of the division and injustice that people are still experiencing here in America. Is it the land of the free and home of the brave, or is it the cage for the mistreated and home of the enslaved? Frankly, if you know what I mean, it's giving the second half of the sentence. Sadly, the same problems and horrific experiences throughout history remain current. My grandparents have faced them. My aunts and uncles had and still are facing them. My cousins had and still are facing them. My siblings are facing them. I am still facing them. My children will face them, and my grandchildren will face them. I can say the future generation would never know what this version of America is like. But you and I both know that would never be true. Our ancestors have fought so hard to get us where we are today, and our current generation still has to continue the fight for our future generations. Once again, think about it. Is America really the same for you and me? When you think of America, what comes to mind for you?
My America is messy and complicated, a tug of war between what has been and what might be. My America is a prism of humanity, the good, the bad, both hope and despair. My America is a choir, myriad voices singing around, expressing countless unique perspectives. My America is a source of pride and shame, elevated by ideals and weighed down by hate. My America is a contradiction, conditional freedoms defined by others. My America is wavering, at a crossroads contemplating, e pluribus unum, or divided we fall.